Right, here we go. Okay, welcome everybody to the Unleash Your Strengths Roundtable for Monday, July 14th, 2025. We're going to be continuing the conversation of mastering strengths. So, what I want to do in today's roundtable discussion is really continue to teach you on what it is I do when someone works with me. Um, for me, I'm especially skilled at growing a business, generating a revenue, and building courses and communities and all that. But none of that really happens unless I have something of true value to deliver to someone. And strengths knowledge, friends, is impactful in such a powerful way. So I'm going to encourage you to become a master of understanding helping people's strengths because you'll see people moving forward very quickly. And that forward movement in their life, that progression, that growing, they will put you as part of that. And I'll prove it to you. Is anybody here that is watching here right now watched a television show from the beginning to the end when it was in syndication, right? We're not in syndication anymore. It's not a thing anymore, right? But how many of you all like watched the show when it came out in the TV? Like and you were there every Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday night and you watched every episode. Was there who can like just volunteer real quick? What show did you watch? Okay, Nancy, go ahead.
Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. Okay, so here's everybody just go, okay, she's talking about Gilmore Girls, but I want you to think about whatever show you watch. For me, there are two shows that really stamped my life. One was Cheers, and the other was The Office. And
Oh,
when I think about these shows, they represent a very special time in my life. So for me, I equate these shows to my own personal life. So for you, Nancy, what was going on in your life during the journey of watching Gilmore Girls? And that show went on for about what, 7 seasons or something? I'm not really sure.
yeah. Yeah, about seven.
Yeah. So what was going
Well,
on in your life while you were watching that show?
okay. So that's when my mom was still alive. And so this was something we bonded on together and we both just honed in on how the main person, the main mother was very manipulative, and my mom and I had a very good relationship, pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And well, we just enjoyed it. We just laughed together and so we can't believe people do that and just we
Do
just
you,
enjoyed it.
do you remember things in your life besides your relationship with your mom that you overcame, that you moved through, that you graduated from during that time?
Oh, during that time. Let me think for a minute. 'Cause it came out in what was it? Early 2000.
Yeah.
Uh,
So everybody else, think about this. Like, what was going on in your life as you're following this show? For me, when I was going through the office, I was graduating from working for large corporations to working for
mm,
myself. It was a very
I
big,
get it.
important time in my life. Go ahead for you, Nancy.
Well, okay. So we had been living in Virginia maybe about 5 years at that time. My son was just graduating. My youngest son was just graduating high school. He was transitioning to college and the military. There was a lot of stuff. My my oldest granddaughters were living with us. Um, there was a lot of transitions and change going on in our family life.
Yeah. So this show represents a growing period for you. And what happens is when we watch TV shows like this, they become part of our experience. They're there to support us, to nurture us when we're going through challenges. Like for me, like ugh, we got The Office tonight. Yes. Or when I was younger, Cheers is on tonight. Yes. It's like a release from the journey and the growing that takes place in our lives naturally. So what my point in this here is that if a TV show can have that kind of a stamp on your own personal growth, then that's you can do so much more for a human being. You get to be a part of that. So when they think about their growth, they think about you, and that makes what you've done special for them. And in this case, it's your infinitely unique strengths showing up for people. And that's what I want to talk about today is how do we do that expertly and without having to go through years of study. That's another thing. I've done all the years of study to make it so that you don't have to, but you will, because you'll find it so much fun once you get the hang of it. So last week we talked about when someone sits in front of me, the questions I ask, I try to find out where they are and what they want. So for those of you that are watching this recording, go watch that on Facebook while it's still available, or get your access to the Unleash Your Strengths community where you can get those videos for life. But the point I'm making here is that when you can understand this and fundamental, you're going to make an impact. And I want to teach you how to do that. So today we're going to go an extra step and we're going to talk about 6 different categories of the way that I look at strengths that helps me identify instantly what kind of strengths does a person have, even if they haven't taken it yet. And if they haven't taken it yet, I could still be of value and be of support to them. Truthfully, I could do it even if they never give me a strengths assessment. At this point now, the only reason I have people take the strengths assessment is so that we can just get an agreement about their strengths rather than me telling them. I'll just tell you right now, coaches, if you want to tell people who they are and what they can do, you might be right, but you're always going to be wrong. And that's the point I want to make is this agreement. This is why they have to take the assessment and then you help them understand it so that the both of you can get into agreement of what their top 10 strengths are, which is what they bring to whatever they want to bring. Right? This is what they bring. You get an agreement with them. And then the bottom strengths, the ones that they get to rely on God and others for. See, it's beautiful to be able to go, these are your bottom 5. This is where God and others show up for you. When you make that agreement with them, right? When you make that agreement with them that that's what this is, and they're like, okay, keep me there. Then that's when your relationships, your coaching are more impactful. And you can do that in the first 15 minutes of the very first time you meet with them. 15 minutes. What would normally have taken me 3 to 6 months to figure out because so many of us are so guarded. I don't want you to know too much. I'd rather you guess. It's like you walk onto a used car lot or a car lot, right? And you don't want the salesperson to know what you want. You want them to guess. You want them to look at the car and say, this is the one for you, right? And you're like, no, wrong. And then you go to the next lot over. Instead of just walking up there in full vulnerability, this is who I am. This is what I love. This is what I want. This is what I'm willing to spend. Let's make a deal, right? Find me this here. That's what's awesome about strengths is we get to get past all that nonsense. So today we're going to talk about the first 2 categories, which is energetic and practical. Okay, so I've put the strengths, I listed them out in the chat here for you. And I know they're not alphabetical order, but it's okay. It doesn't need to be efficient. I just want to have a frame of reference. So while we're looking at this, well, that's weird. Oh, it's too much. Bear with me a minute. Okay, so while we're looking at this, I want you to go ahead and take a look at your top 10 and tell me how many of your top 10 are energetic, how many are practical. Let me know in the chat. Let's see. Okay, trying to put them in the chat again. Here we go. All right. How many of them do you have that are energetic and practical in the top 10? All right. There it is. I put the list again just in case it helps. All right. So Ronay, I think, has the most of anything. You said 9 energetic strengths in your top 10. Is that right, Ronay?
Yes, 9.
Okay. So does that mean she can't do the other thing? No, remember, strengths has nothing to do with what you can't do. It's how you do everything, right? So when we look at the difference between energetic and practical, the concept is, am I more in the vibe and the feel, or am I more in the measurable and the controllable? And then, so when we start with one, we are able to do the other. So for you, Ronan, if I were to tell you, I need you to provide a structured breakdown of something that you're going to be a part of, right? When you go, what would be your process to get to that structured, steps, if you will?
Leanne's laughing because I would call her.
Okay.
Also, my husband has 8 practical.
Okay. So you would involve him, you're saying?
Yes, I rely on him. I rely on people like Leanne to help me with the structure and the process of different things. Just talking about my husband in particular, he relies on me for anything touchy-feely or communicating with people because he doesn't people.
Which ones? Okay, sorry. Angela had a request for me. So when you're meeting with your practical husband and you're saying, "Hey, I need a structured process here." Um, and how do you go about communicating to him what you need completed?
Great example. We are redoing my website right now,
Hmm.
and it's frustrating for both of us because I'm like, I don't know, like just make it look good. Just do that. So then he's like, okay, here's what I need from you. I need you to go find some websites that you like and then tell me why you like them. And so that's what we've been able to do is I go and I find some things because then he can see it and he can see what the process is to make it. But I'm like, I don't know, like I like this. This has like a good vibe to it. And he's like, what does a good vibe mean?
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, how can you not understand that? Right? Except for now I understand why. So that has been a way for us to work on different things. If we're doing something around, we have this little hobby homestead. So if I want something for the chicken coop, then I go and I find something that looks like what I want, and then he draws it out and figures out how he's going to make it. And then I'm just like there to, like, we work really, really well together. We've remodeled 3 houses together. Like, I'm usually the knock it down, tear it out, just destroy it, and then he knows how to put it back together.
So what I hope everyone's getting from this is that Renee has a feeling of how something should be experienced, a feeling for how something should not necessarily look, but just how it should play out energetically and flow. So for her husband to put, like, for example, the website together, he needs to know what that is. So here's the practical person who wants communication from the energetic person. And so the two have to learn how to communicate. But knowing this, then it prevents him from telling her, your business is never going to grow if you don't become more clear and structured with it.
I mean, he still tells me that.
But he can, well, that's just it. Like, but in other words, he can let go of having to put that responsibility on you, is what I'm saying, right? He can say your business needs it, but you don't have to deliver it,
Correct.
right? And that's the thing, huge, okay? And that's the thing I want everybody to understand is that when you understand whether you're more dominantly energetic or dominantly practical, that's the part you bring first, so that the other part comes second. And it doesn't have to be where you rely on others to help, although it is more efficient if you do let go of your nonsense and just ask for help. Um, the one of the reasons why I got into coaching was because I wanted to make an impact on people. I did not want to become a Canva designer or a web designer or a graphic designer or a person who analyzes data on funnels. Like, how many people's of traffic are you getting through? How many people are buying? How many people are, blah, blah, blah. It's not something I got into this business for. I wanted to help people. I have a friend named Shannon who helps chiropractors just adjust people. So the chiropractors just want to adjust people. That's it. They don't want to deal with all the other stuff. So I want you to think about that. Whatever it is you love doing, awesome. And then you get someone else to help you with the others. And please, I know you're thinking about affording it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's far more costly, far more expensive for you to do it yourself. It's far more expensive to do it by yourself than to hire someone to help you do it. I'm just telling you right now, you might not see the cost, but it's there and it's expensive. It's like thousands and thousands of dollars when you don't have someone helping you with the other side. I, like Renee, am very energetic. I require a practical presence in my business. I can't be the one that brings it. Okay, so let's talk about the practical next. So who here has got 6 or more practical strengths in their top 10? And let's see who's got the most. So Nancy, how many you got?
Just 6.
6? Okay. Anybody else have more than 6 practical strengths in their top 10? So Nancy's one of my favorite examples of this. So I'm actually glad we're going to talk. Nancy, how many times has this energetic given you direction and you're like, okay, but I need to know what that means?
Yeah.
I mean,
Break it down, explain it.
break it down, explain it. Ronay, will you please break it down and explain it?
Oh, can I just show you? Can I show you how it feels?
Sure.
Like this is how it should feel when it happens.
Yeah.
Annie,
Um,
I'm glad you brought it up. Sorry to cut you off, but I almost didn't go on the retreat because when you first said present, it's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
yeah.
This just feels weird. I need it, like, tell me what we're doing.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So the concept here is that for Nancy, it must begin with what can I see? What can I measure? Is that correct, Nancy?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So if she's going to do something, be a part of something, get something done, it's about what needs to be done, right? So let's look at social media for example.
Okay.
Nancy's favorite subject. Uh,
Ish now.
well, okay. So the reason why I'm sarcastically joking, it's not social media is not generally exciting for a practical. Not generally, right? There can be an energetic aspect to it, a joyful aspect to it, but not typical. And the reason is because social media is all about feel and emotion and mostly fake news. And what I mean by fake news is like anybody just having an opinion about something is fake news, right?
Okay.
Or even saying like here's a great example of fake news. Somebody will put up a post saying, I graduated high school, or I graduated my certification program today. To me, that's fake news. The reason is because telling me you graduated tells me nothing. All it does is it tells me you finished something. But I want to know, what did you go through to finish that? What can I take away from this other than just go, congratulations, and then move on from my life and completely forget it because who cares? What I care about is what you went through to get there so that I can get something from that post. See, this is where Nancy's like, I just wanted to tell people I graduated. And that was it. I wanted to post it and get it done. So what
Can I ask you
happened?
a question? I'm
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, but I have four
hold on a second.
energetic.
Hold on a second. I'm just going to ask you to do one thing, multitasker.
I'm
Don't
not doing
eat
anything
while
else, just eating an
don't eat
apple.
while we talk.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm
I know you're
so
just like, I'm
hungry.
going to get this done. Watch me eat while I have this conversation. It's
Thought
hard
he
to
was,
hear you
I
when I
thought you thought
hear.
I was taking notes. Okay. Sorry about
Look at
that.
you. You're
If
eating, talking, and
if
taking notes at
there
the same time.
if there's four energetic,
Yes.
I think that helps me with the part about making it a little more exciting. Because if it
Yeah.
was seven or eight practicals and then like just two energetics, it would be like not so good. Or
Yeah.
at least
Yeah. It helps.
not for that particular avenue anyway.
Right. You're right. It does help. Four is a lot. Four energetic in your top 10 is a lot. It's something that you're going to lean on. But it's where does it begin, right? The beginning is, okay, at nine
Practical.
o'clock, right? Nancy, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to go live, or at 9 o'clock, I'm going to put up a post and it's going to say this, this, and this. And that is what needs to be in there. Is that right?
Yes and no. I wanted to ask you about that because what I've done is I don't even do which would be practical chat GBT or none of that. I just go to God and say, what do you want me to share?
Yeah.
What can I bless people with? And it just comes to me as I do it. And I don't know if that's energetic. I don't think it's under practical.
Well, I wouldn't call that. I would call that practical. I mean, there's a practical aspect to it, there's an energetic aspect to it. There's a vibe
Okay.
and a feel, but mostly it's what's a process. For you, the process is first decide I'm going to post something. Second, I'm going to ask God. Third, I'm going to listen to what He says. Fourth, I'm going to follow His instructions step by
I
step.
get it. All right.
Yeah, and so communication with God doesn't have to be an energetic thing. It can be literally a let's get this done, right?
Okay.
Um, so this is one thing I learned about God is that he communicates with you in your strengths all the time. So he doesn't elaborate on things with you that he does with me.
Right,
You know what
because
I
he
mean?
knows what I'm like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got
You
it.
just say, Nancy, do this. He knows that's enough. He knows that's all you need. Right? Say this. Done. For me, it's like an instruction I need. I need to go through a process of hearing all the details. And then I go, oh, okay, so is this what you want me to do? And he's like, yes, that's it. So he knows that I got to go through that process. Rene, I would imagine, is very similar. I need more. I need more. I can't, like, here's my thing is that when I go to my wife, Angela, who is far more practical than I do, and I ask her a question and I get literally like a 1 or 2 word answer, I don't know what to do. Like, you just 2 words? I need more than that. Give me more than just 2 words. Right? Versus someone who's an energetic, you ask them a simple thing and all you want is 2 words. Good luck.
And they go on and on and on.
Only on and only all the time, right? So the whole point I'm making is that where do you begin best, right? So that's it. So next week we're going to talk more about the judgy and the accepting, the internal and external. We'll get into that, but let's focus on this for now because this will help you help others today. Okay, so now let's shift for a moment. We want to help others. And the best way to help others is to start to get an idea. Are they more in the practical or are they more in the energetic, even if I don't have their strengths assessment? So I'm going to give you some things to think about. All right. So the best way to do this is for those of you that are watching on Facebook, especially, and everybody here, every time we meet, I always ask you to get clear about a result that you want to see happen this week. Now, if you are smart, which I know everyone here is, inside of that result are other people. There are other people that are going to benefit from it, whether they're a potential client or a current client, someone in your business, someone you work with, someone you live with or married to, someone you're friends with, or even someone you're trying to attract to you in some way, shape, or form. So in that result, there's a person or people. And I want you to pick a person, okay? Everybody right now, think of the person that can be impacted by what you're doing. And like I said, I give you a lot of examples of who it could be. Okay, take a moment. And in your head, you don't have to tell me. I just want you to say their name in your head. Okay, whatever their name is. Now, I want you to imagine that person doing something that you predict they will do or you've seen them do. And I want you to put up their actions towards one of these 2 categories, either energetic or practical. How can I tell that a person is energetic? Well, most energetics are about wearing clothes that have colors. Oftentimes, bright colors are somewhere associated on their body. Oftentimes, because for them, the feeling of color is something they want to put out to others. There's also, and by the way, a person like Robin, who's got this beautiful, bright white hair, that counts as color. Okay. Just FYI. I remember meeting this one gal who had the yellowest hair I've ever seen, very similar hairstyle to you, Robin. And the second I looked at her and saw the hair, I knew energetic. The second I saw, and then I start looking at other parts of their body to see, are there parts of their body that begin but don't necessarily finish? In women in particular, you can see there's a certain part of the hair that's got some organization, but the rest just kind of flows. Not exactly like a mullet, but sort of like a mullet, right? And so then there's the movement of their body. When they talk, does their body move? Right? The more they talk, do they move their body more? When they explain things, do they go on kind of like I'm doing right now? Right? Do they elaborate and try to look at everything from all 5, 6 different dimensions? Think about anything that they want to say and think of a dice, right? A dice is 6 sides, right? So for them, when they're trying to explain something, they want to explain all 6 sides of that thing. When they talk or when they're near you, do they touch you in any way? Like even just tap your shoulder or high five you or fist bump, anything, right? Howie Mandel, total absolute total energetic, and there's a practical side to him, which is the OCD. But because you can listen to how he communicates, for those of you who don't know who Howie Mandel is, and his thing is always fist bump. Even though he has issues with touching people with this, he will still do this. That's how you know he's an energetic. If he was a practical, he'd be like, don't touch me at all, right? So for those of you who don't know who Howie Mandel, go watch AGT. Anyway, America's Got Talent. So my point in this is like, is there a vibe when you think of them? Do you think the word vibe or even feel the word vibe? When you're around them, it's not necessarily how do you feel, but does that come off of them? Okay, now the practical is not exactly opposite, but very different. Practicals will look you in the eye and not, their eyeballs don't bounce around. They're like this. So they'll look at you like this. And while you're talking, they're literally breaking down every word you say because to them, it's as solid as this microphone, right? Practicals will oftentimes need details. What does it look like? What are the steps? When they communicate, it's typically short words, short phrases to the point, and emotion tends to be, not always, but tends to be confusing. In women, their hair is complete, right? There's a beginning and an end. It starts and it finishes. So like, for example, I coach girls basketball and I can just tell you by their hairstyles who the energetics and who the practicals are. It's obvious, you know. The other thing is, what do they dress like? Oftentimes muted colors, not a whole lot of style, you know, it's practical. It gets the job done. Oftentimes they're very what's the word, frugal, when you are very good at saving money and not spending money like crazy. Is that the word? So very frugal, you know, very careful, calculated. They don't like to make decisions extremely fast. They will if they are pushed, and don't expect those decisions to care about your feelings. But oftentimes, and they're oftentimes assessing goods and bads. So on. You'll also tell that they're very committed to being on time. Even if they don't have a whole lot of executing strengths, if they have a lot of practical, let's say strategic thinking strengths, time is of the essence, right? So time is important. Don't waste time. It's really big emphasis on waste. They hate waste. Whereas energetics can waste all day long. Practicals can't stand it, right? An energetic can literally waste hours talking to everybody or anybody about nothing, where that's a violation of in a practicals world. You can also tell you're talking to a practical if you've said more than 3 sentences in a row and haven't asked for elaboration, and they're now staring at you, praying that you'll stop talking. That's another one. Now, the person that you're thinking of, they could easily be both of the things that I'm telling you about, right? It's just where if you were to look at this, you know, where does the dial tend to go? They could be more, they could go one, they could be energetic and then go back to the practical, and you know, it's just, you know, they could bounce back and forth. But what I want you to think about is, where do they tend to go when you're thinking about them? And so now that once you've kind of just make a decision, oh, they're more towards the practical or they're more towards the energetic. Is anybody here just like flat out struggling to decide which one do they tend to be towards? Again, you don't know. This is just your observation.
I'm conflicted just for myself because, as you described it, I mean, I know what mine are, but
yeah, well, I'm not talking about you to think about you. Do not self-evaluate.
I know.
That's a terrible idea.
I can't judge myself. How am I going to be able to figure anybody else out?
So that's the point. You're not supposed to. Everyone else. So if I went and asked your family, where does Leanne go? They would all have a more accurate of what you represent as. I only do this for myself because I understand it. Renee as well. Renee, what would you say Leanne tends to one or the other? Because you spend a lot of time with her.
I know where she's conflicted because her clothes, her dress, her manner, and everything is very muted, but I know her strengths. So it would be hard for me to assess. I would say she's more practical, but again, looking at her strengths, she's more energetic.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. Just we're not looking for accuracy. We're just
Mhm.
looking from a perspective. Perspective isn't accurate. It's just perspective,
Yes.
right? So just so everyone understands, I'm not trying to teach you how to predict the accurate, like an accurate of person's strengths. That's not possible. I get it wrong. Just so you know, I get it wrong all the time. All the time. Like I'll meet a person, I go, "Oh, you probably have this," and then and they're like 29. I'm like, "What?" I get that happens all the time, but I tend to be better when I lean towards this energetic and practical piece.
So the person I was thinking about was my mom. And then as you're explaining, she wears the vibrant colors. She has to be all put together. I'm like, she leans, like looking at her, she would be energetic, but the way she acts is more practical.
So again, which one would you say she leans towards? We're
Based on
just
what
guessing.
you said is going to be energetic, which is shocking.
Okay. So we're just going to lean towards the energetic. Okay. That's all. We're not
Okay.
predicting this perfectly, right? We're trying to give our best opportunity to be able to mentor or support someone based on what we're observing.
Okay.
Renee, you got something important to say.
I do. Well, this is so helpful. I have one of my kids who has absolutely refused to take the assessment because he doesn't want to be labeled. And I'm like, oh, kiddo, that's not what the assessment's about. But he is uber into tie-dye. Like I don't even know how many tie-dyed shirts because he's like perfecting his method or whatever. And I would have thought he's more process oriented, except when you say that. And then I also look at his hair as like this curly, big, kind of big hair. And he plays really weird instruments. Like he plays the hurdy-gurdy and the ocarina, right?
Yeah.
And so then as I start thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is actually more energetic. He's like top 5% for intelligence. So I perception put him in a more practical, but I don't think he is.
His father's practical.
Yes, his father's very practical.
And he sees an example of a man. And there's a possibility, I'm not sure, there's a possibility that he's already sensed inside of him that he's not that.
Yeah.
And so then to be labeled would be to become that. Because then he's going to be labeled, and now that label is his box that he has to practically live in when he would prefer to be in an energetic flow state.
Yeah, this kid, you just put him in a box.
Yeah, which by the way, of my young friend, I would say to him, that's a box too.
Ah.
It's all the box, my friend. We just got to figure out how to help you embrace the box you're already in. You're in a box. We all are. And it's a beautiful, wonderful box that can do so many things, and it can morph and it can change and it can grow and it can become this beautiful puzzle piece that will work with anybody and it'll bring you joy. There you go. So why would you reject it? It's the concept of being labeled something in a box that he doesn't want to be in. That's the fear. But the reality is you're already in a box, the box of people who are fearing boxes. Robin, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking that if you tell them, so I can guess what your strengths are, or I can honor what you say your strengths are.
Please, somebody write that down as fast as possible.
I'm writing it down. That's awesome. Thanks,
I
Robin.
can guess what your strengths are, or I can honor
what you say your strengths
What
are.
you say. I can
yeah,
guess.
what you tell me, which is basically what God told you. This is one of the reasons why I love like how radical of a life change it was for me to discover the teachings and understanding of a pre-existence before before given this bodily, I was chosen. It was communicated to me who I was and what I was created to be, and I joyfully accepted it. And I am now growing to love and embrace it here in this existence. And it makes me happy to know that like I've known this, but it's taken me 40 blah 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 years. Now I'm in my 50th year to really start to understand it and embrace it. Wow, what a cool concept, right? So I can guess what your strengths are. So don't do it so that I can continue guessing. And you and I both know how much you love it when mom guesses. Or you just tell me, man. And then we'll get into agreement. If you don't like what you told me, then we don't have to agree on it because you know how much we all know ourselves. You know.
You have to let me know if that works, Renee.
Oh, I will totally let you know. Also, I have the other ace in my pocket. My birthday's this month, and he's going to be like, "What do you want for your birthday?" I just want you to take this assessment. I paid for it. Just take it.
I love that. I can't wait to see his reaction.
Okay,
I
so
will try this method because I think this will be the one that works. So thanks, Robin. That's awesome.
so why is this helpful? The reason why it's helpful is that once I can figure out, get an idea of where a person's energetic, then I can go in and start asking questions. I can engage, like what Robin is saying. Once I get the feel, so with there's this basketball player that I worked with recently, and I got the feeling that she was energetic, and but I didn't know for sure. It was just a feeling, a thought, and then I watched it play out, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it is. And then I said to this person, I said, do you feel like you sometimes overthink? And she immediately said yes. And I'm going, okay, I am about 90% sure now that you're dominantly energetic. And then I start to go, okay, what are the rules with energetic? It's about making sure the vibe and the feeling of what you're doing is in alignment. I have a daughter who just finished high school. It took a little while because she had one test and it was on geography. And she had such a poor energy around geography, poor energy, like just a block, if you will. And we had to have conversations about how to get herself in alignment energetically with taking this geography test, or else not only would she continue to procrastinate it, but when she does take it, it'll be out of her strengths, in which case it won't be her best self. So we had to have a conversation about getting in the right energy. What do you love about graduating? What do you love about finishing? What do you love about getting through this geography thing? I don't need you to love geography, but we can't go into this test hating it. Right? Just like you can't go into a relationship with someone who you have issues with. You can't go into a business with someone or something you have. Here's another one. How many of you all have issues with the money aspect of your business? The money aspect of your business is one of the most crucial and critical pieces to your business. And if you've got a negative energy around that and you're dominantly energetic, guess what's going to always happen? You're going to have issues with one of the most important components to your business growing, which is money coming in, right? So this is another example. So when a person is energetic and you're trying to help them, the goal is to help them get their energy right. Because when it's off, the practical is off. The execution is off. So let's talk about the practical now. So the practical aspect is about what can be controlled. Okay, so this is where you'll see certain strengths in practical, like, let me go to the list here. Discipline. Let's talk about discipline for a second. So when a person has discipline, by the way, does anyone here have discipline in their top 10? I doubt. Oh, Nancy. Okay, cool. So when a person has discipline in the top 10, the controllable is everything. What is my schedule and what can I accomplish based on real, measurable information, right? Responsibility, discipline, restorative, consistency. These strengths all rely on what I can see and measure and thus control. So when a person who's in highly practical, lives in controllable, then they must stay in what they are thinking, what they are feeling, what they are doing, and what they are creating. It's the only thing they have any control over. Disciplined people might appear robotic, but no, they're not. They're just choosing to manage the controllable nature of their emotions, right? The controllable of them, whatever's controllable. Like they can get up in the morning and exercise or eat right or read scripture or do whatever they got to do to help them stay in control of their emotions as much as they can. Because for them, emotions aren't practical, right? So it's not in their best interest to allow their emotions to have control. So they do their best to control them. They do their best. They know they don't control them completely, but they do their best. It's part of their process systems. So when you're around someone who's highly practical, then you know to push them into the energy would derail them. Like, for example, have a practical finish their homework and then ask them how they feel. They don't understand that. Like, what do you mean? What does that matter? Right? It's like, are you done? Oh, yes. And then you'll see an emotion. Yes, I'm done. Did you finish on time? Yes, I finished right on time. And then an emotion shows up. Don't ask them, how does that feel? You can tell just by looking at them. It's obvious. Practical people wear their emotions on the outside because they don't want them inside. Right? So it's obvious. You don't need to get clarification. So what needs to be, what is controlled? Now, this is how you know you can help them. When a person is highly practical, the problem with them is they have two problems. Number one is they don't trust the people around them. That you can already bet. Like I'll put 20 on black on that one all day long. I'll get to you in a second, Ronnie. So they don't trust the people around them. For the most part, some people they might trust a little more than others, but for the most part, they don't. And so when you don't trust someone, their controllables now become your thing that you're trying to control, is what other people do or don't do, say or don't say, feel or don't feel, create or don't create. So then you can assume right now that the person you're thinking about around the goal that you have, if they're more in the practical, then what's tripping them up is getting involved in doing other people's work. There's too many people's other things in their thing. Other people's to-do list has wandered onto theirs. And by the way, when I mean other people, I also mean God. So they'll put God's to-do list on their to-do list too. They're literally trying to figure out how to make everything controllable. And that's where their things are going well, and that's where they're struggling. So with your goal, you want to figure out how to make your goal to be a part of helping them get the wrong things out of their to-do list and stay with the right things, the things that they can actually control, and help them actually break that down. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay, this is a question that I have because you're saying that somebody who is a practical wears their emotions on their sleeve.
Oftentimes, yes.
Oftentimes.
I mean, because they could have 5 and 5. You know what I mean?
Right. My question is, because I get this from my husband all the time, is, and maybe it's just him, or I want to know if you've noticed this, but their affect. So a lot of times, is it the practical, maybe it's a practical internal who doesn't show the facial expressions. So his thing is he hates to get gifts, especially in a group, because he's like, I want to like look at it. I want to like figure it out. But I have to go, oh, thank you, but that's just not him.
Why do that? Why does he think he has to do that?
Because he thinks that that's what other people want to see.
Other people's list.
So is that practical, or is it practical internal? Is it
No, it's just practical.
Okay.
He knows other people want him to say, oh, or at least he believes that.
Yes.
Right? So he caters to that and adds their to-do list, which they're the one, it's up to them to feel good about giving him something. You know, like if I give someone something, I don't need them to go, "Oh, Eddie, you changed my life. Let me hug you and let me tell you the whole world about you." No, I give gifts because it makes me feel good to give. Boom, done. It's over. I cannot put that responsibility on you, right? So a practical understands that the measurable. So they go, you know, hey, thank you, and that's someone else's to-do list, man. You
Yes.
know, what's the practical? Oh, somebody gives you a gift, you say thank you. Done. It doesn't have to be flamboyantly. Just thank you.
Agreed.
That's how you know it's a practical, by the way. They do that. Thank you. What? Stop staring at me, you know?
Now I got to rethink my tie-dye kid because he doesn't like people to stare at him either.
Well, yeah, there's different reasons, you know. Teresa's got her hand up. Go ahead, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love, love, love this discussion. Thank you so much. This is bringing a lot of clarity to me. But I have two thoughts or two questions. So if they wear their emotions on the outside of them, would they tend to show up as more emotional because they don't want to keep them on the inside? But then you also said they don't show a lot of emotion. So help
Yeah.
me
Okay.
get
So
clarity
I'm
on that.
going to the extreme on this, just so that you can understand. I'm thinking of somebody with, let's say, 9 practical strengths in their top 10, and then that's a 9, and then anything less, it transitions, right? So if a person, let's say, had 9 executing strengths, then I can just tell you right now, they wear their emotions on their sleeve, and you rarely see emotion because there rarely is.
Okay.
Period. So sometimes we think people's emotions are inside and they're keeping them from the outside. No, there's literally just nothing there.
Okay.
And I'm thinking of someone with like 9, okay? And then
Okay.
as we go down 8, 7, 6, or even 5, that's still true, but it's diluted a bit, right? So when a person has, like, let's say 6 practical and 4 energetic, for the most part, the only emotions they experience are, there's some emotions, and most of them are on the surface. Very few are internal because it's not practical to keep it inside. This is how I know, like this is when I think about my mom. My mom was an energetic, even though she operated like a practical. And the reason why I know my mom was an energetic was because every thought, every feeling, every emotion that was like that she experienced, it came out of her like crazy, like constantly. So, well, actually, what I meant to say was my mom's a practical, but like a low practical, like 6, and then 4 energetic, maybe even 5 and 5. You know, my mom had to be the mom and the dad because my dad was gone a lot. So maybe even 5 and 5. And that's where you start seeing strengths like responsibility come up. And so this emotional stuff was inefficient for her to hold on to. So she would get it all out. You want to know how my mom felt? Just be near her for 5 minutes. You'll find out very quickly. Whereas an energetic can hold on to it, play with it, decide whether to release it or not. Most of the time they don't, but you know, it's just an example. And again, I'm focusing on extremes just to give specifics, but everyone's different in varying ways.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then if they're trying to control everyone outside of themselves, and that's basically they're getting in everybody else's business, trying to control everything.
Yeah, and I want you to think of that control, right? Grab, pull, push, say, and it's always saying. They don't control people by not saying things. Energetics do that. Energetics will keep information from people to try to control them. For example, not always, but like, for example, if they're angry with you, they won't talk to you. And in the hopes that that'll manipulate you to get you to come to them, right? It's an energetic controlling way versus a practical just comes in and say, you're doing it wrong. You need to do it different now, immediately, stop, you know, what more do you need me to say? You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
So I hope I didn't interrupt you just now, Teresa.
No, that was good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This is
You
awesome.
bet. You bet. And so the controllable is what do I do? What is my job? What do you want me to do? What is important for me to do? What can I do? What's possible for me to do? And if we ask a practical to step too far outside of that, you're asking them to step into a place they can't control. Case in point, setting goals, right? Um, my wife has coined this phrase with me. When I tell her X dollars are going to come into our bank account, her thought is, well, from where? And I go, that's not important. I just know. And so she calls that magic money, right? Because for her, your weirdo thing about money coming in is not measurable, provable, that so therefore it is magic. It's made up, it's fantasy. You know, even if I get it right, even if I say 10,000 is coming in one way or another and 10,000 comes in, for her, it's still magic money. You know, she hates that process. And by the way, Angela's 5 and 5, just FYI. So she's not heavy in one or the other. My point in this is it's about what can be controlled, what can be seen, what can be measured, what can be promised or depended on. And that's why you'll see practicals very heavily in writing things down, taking very detailed notes often that they'll actually go back to. See, energetics will write notes because the note writing is an energetic process, but they'll never go back to the notes because the process is over. So there's no reason to go back to the notes anymore. The practical will be like, well, I wrote the notes because I wanted to go back to them so that I could use them and follow them. So practicals will write things down. Practicals will have things in order because order helps them relax. This is why you'll see something about their body or their clothing or their way they operate is efficient. I was talking about earlier about the movie Superman. So good. But in this movie, there's a character called Mr. Terrific. And that guy has probably 15 practical strengths in his top 10. You know what I mean? Like, unbelievable. And watch how beautifully his character's written, how weird he gets when anybody mentions anything energetic or emotional. Like this character injects a microcomputers into everyone he knows so that he can track them. And he couldn't understand why some people had issue with that. It's a fascinating character to watch. This is beautiful, beautifully done. He's a genius and brilliant and whatever. Versus like Superman in the movie, who's very emotional. This is not by the way, just FYI, just to prep everybody, this is not a stoic, adult, dominantly, male figure Superman. This is a very immature, young, emotional, and impulsive Superman who thinks, oh, there's these two countries that are warring. I'm just going to run down there and fix that instead of practically communicating to the leadership of these two countries first. And it causes this big stir and this uproar. I'm not spoiling anything. It's basically the concept. So energetic Superman partnered with practical Mr. Terrific. And these two could not be more different, but a good example of watch this movie. It's so freaking good. It's a little weird, but I love the weird part of it. So just to kind of help you understand, it's like a measurable, practical versus energetic vibe feel. When you're working with somebody who's more practical, ask them, what do they want? Like, what are they doing? What are they measuring? What is their, like, the deliverable today? What is deliverable? Not what do they need to deliver or should they deliver? It's what are they required? All right, I ranted just now. So we got let's do another 10 or 15 minutes of discussion. Thinking about your goal and the process. How can I help you utilize either the practical or the energetic with the person or people that you want this to impact? Marie, go ahead.
Okay. So this is like very eye-opening for like social media posting because, telling you what the product is, that's nice if you're practical, but telling you how it can impact you, what can it do for you? That's for the energetic people. And so I do more practical, even though if I saw something, because I like to know what it can do, but people want to just feel better. So it's like I gotta have maybe more energetic, like solving their problem more than telling you what the product does, kind of thing. But interacting with people, a lot of our trainings we've had is on the practical side, and thinking about the people that are on my team and the people I approach to solve, help them solve their problems. We've been taught a very practical step-by-step way to approach it. And when I'm teaching yoga, I don't do that. I look what they need, and I kind of feel, because I'm more energetic, I feel, do they need a step-by-step? Do they need to, how feel it in their body? Well, and I kind of know what they need and how to help them self-correct in their yoga. But I don't think I've ever thought about that in terms of my business, interacting with people. It's like I have to get these check boxes done because that's what I was taught to do.
Yeah, because to
And I
you,
feel,
check boxes are business.
yeah,
Never really thought that someone's emotions and feeling and breaking through emotionally towards something could be business aspected. Like there's a business to that, but there is.
and that's also the thing is, if somebody's more practical, they can see, yeah, I can see how this can help me. How do I get it? Let's get it and check the boxes. Somebody that's emotional, they have to feel like it's going to solve their problem. And then they don't always want to go to the practical, let's do the next step kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so how to energetically move them to finishing the process is, I think, for those, I see that those are the people I have trouble closing the deal with, is because I don't know if they have to like feel it, like I have to, like they want it now, or create that feeling. I don't know. Because then I tend to go back to the closing as practical, and that kind of shuts them down.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm going to give you some insight. First off, there's no way to get 100% on this with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have brought so many issues to the thing that they want to solve that they're not ready for it to be solved no matter what you say or do. Just FYI, there's no 100%. But you can increase your closing percentages gargantuanly when you understand the energetic and the practical. So when you're talking with an individual, so when you talk with an individual, you're trying to figure out what matters to them first. But both matter, right? How do I feel and what is it going to look like when I'm succeeding, right? So like, for example, when I'm talking to a person individually, I'm trying to figure out where do they tend to spend more time? Do they want more of the energy? Do they want more of the practical? I'm going to talk about both, but one comes first. So let's say, for example, if I'm presenting, let's say like a kit for my network marketing company, and they've already told me all their problems and how they want things to change. So I'll be like, okay, here's how it's going to work. And I start with practical just to help them understand what is going to be involved. But whether they're energetic or not. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to give you this. You're going to get this kit. You're going to get this. Here's how it's going to work. Take out the word give because I'm not giving, but you're going to get this kit. Here's how it's going to work. When you get it, you're going to start using it and you're going to use it every day. It's to take about 10 or 15 minutes. However, when you're starting to use it, you're going to start feeling different. And you're then going to notice differences. Let me say that again. You're going to feel different. And then I get specific on what is different. Like, you know how you're always telling me how you're feeling this way? You're going to feel this way. And you're going to notice differences. Like you're always telling me that you're seeing yourself do this, or you're going to see yourself doing this. So I'm always doing both practical and energetic, but which one do I emphasize most? Is based on my evaluation or my observance of where they are, right? And especially in groups, never heavy on one or the other. Do both in partnership. Think of it like tennis. Sometimes we're on the practical, sometimes we're on the energetic. I'm going to give you a really great example of a massive failure I witnessed in front of powerful leaders at a very big workshop that cost all of us thousands of dollars to attend. And it was a huge mistake. So the person running this set of presentations had another person come on stage who is a dominant energetic. And he told her you've got to wrap up your presentation in 5 minutes. He told an energetic, you got to just get to the point and tell people what to do. Because why? Because he is a practical. I've seen his strengths. I know. He did that. And everyone in the room spent thousands of dollars to be in that room, spent years of their life to qualify to be able to be in that room. That company spent millions of dollars to put on that presentation, and he ruined it by not giving the energetic as much time as she freaking needs to help all of us learn what she knows. She rushed through the presentation, and it was the worst presentation I've ever seen in my life. It was the worst. And I was so frustrated with him because he knows this. I told him this. And yet he didn't care because he's just looking at it from his position. And I understand that, but I'm warning you, Marie. Don't ever allow anyone to say one thing is the right thing, only practical or only energetic. They both are required. So here's what we're going to do. Here's how it's going to feel. This is what you're going to notice. This is how you're going to feel. This is what's going to see. This is what you're going to experience. All of it. It's this beautiful marriage of both. And I can't tell you how much of a difference it's made with me, where people will give me anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 and thank me because they know I care about both. I want them to see and I want them to feel, right? The practical and the energetic. And so, Marie, I hope the takeaway for you is, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, because now I'm seeing that, okay, so there's always certain information in any business that people need if they're going to involve themselves. So you always need the practical, like the framework. And so if I have the basic framework, whether basic class, the basic introduction, basic framework, and watch how they're responding. If I'm talking too much, like my husband's very practical, he'll kind of like shut down, like, where's the end of this thing? So if I tell them all the things, they're like, no. So if I give the basic framework and then go from there, do they need to feel more? Because some people, if you talk about feeling things and they're like, no, I just want to know, I want it to solve X, Y, and Z. So as long as they have the practical part, because I was thinking maybe there's too much practical for energetic people, but they need that information.
Yeah, they do. They really do. When a person says they need a certain thing solved, ask them why.
Okay.
Now, okay, so why is this so important?
Okay.
And they'll say, well, you can tell, like, well, it's wrong. It needs to be right. Okay, that's a very practical thing to say. It's wrong and it needs to be right. Like if it's being done wrong, it's moving wrong, it's flowing wrong, it's executing wrong, it's taking too much wrong. Versus it feels off. I am struggling. I just like when you hear emotional reasons, then you're like going, oh, two people could want the same outcome for but two completely different reasons.
Well, like some people might say, like, let's say if they had digestion, I want to feel better. I want to get up in the morning or go to bed without feeling like this. And the practical person would be like, I want to save money on this, and I want to have a protocol that I could just do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. You're starting to see they lean more towards the practical, right? Controllable. Oftentimes people want your solution so they can stop trying to fix everyone else's problems because the controllable is out of control. Concepts like that. This is why whenever someone says, this is what my outcome is, I'll be like, all right, great. And this is my favorite thing to do, Marie, and this will nail it every time for you, is when you ask someone, what is the thing you want to see happen? What's an outcome you're looking for? And they'll either tell you an energetic or a practical, but then you go, okay. And by the way, everybody do this. This is ninja hack here, okay? Say, okay, pretend it's a year from now. Okay, so right now it's July 14, 2025. Say, okay, pretend it's July 14th, 2026. And this thing that you want right now, it's in your hands. You got it, right? You got it all. It's awesome. What is your life like now? And they'll either say, well, now I'm able to do this, do that, and these systems and those processors are now more spoiled, right? Or they'll say, I'll just be so relaxed and so relieved. All this burden will be removed. And you'll go, okay, that's more important. It's not that the other one's not. It's that that's more important. Now I know who I'm dealing with. right? So when I say work with me and that's what you're going to get, then I know that's what they really want. It's not the outcome, it's that outcome. That's what they really want. Right? No one enrolls with you because they want to learn how to use oils. They roll with you because of what enrolling with you does for them. Right? And we got to know, is it more energetic or is it more practical? Marie, is this working for you? Is this helping?
Yeah, because I'm trying to guess, and guessing is always wrong if you don't have the information.
Ask.
So, yes, ask.
Ah.
Don't just follow a process.
Robin, I see your hand up. Go ahead, Robin.
I was watching a show last night, and as you're talking, this came to mind. This woman screamed, and the person to get to her said, "What's wrong?" And she said, that's wrong. That's very wrong." It was a guy who had hung himself.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Practical.
So what we're looking at is trying to figure out where do they lean towards so that I can focus on that, but then also bring the other thing. You know, high disciplined people don't follow structure because for them following structure makes them happy. It's following structure because the structure gives them peace, an emotional outcome, right? But it's through a practical versus an adaptability person wants peace so that they can have structure. Without peace, within chaos, they can't create structure, right? So they both want the same things, but go at it either energetically or practically. So when you're thinking about this outcome that you want, right? First, ask yourself, is the more important thing how I will feel or that it's done? And by the way, they're both the same. Done and how it feels are both the same, but what would you say is the motivator? And then when you're thinking about the person that can benefit from that, what do they want? Right? Will they want to feel a certain way or do they want to know it's done? Let's wrap up, friends. Some final takeaways. What are y'all getting from this?
There's just so many good things when you understand the energetic and the practical, especially just for my marriage, because my husband and I are both such extremes that it has helped in our conversations because I've been able to go, oh, this is how I feel about it, but I need to know what process you want to go through to get this done. And I also, because my activator wants to just go, and I can still honor my activator by giving him time because his responsibility, his restorative, all of those things need to be honored as well. And it doesn't take anything away from me to work in my strengths and honor his at the same time.
Awesome. Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Spring. Renee. Why am I thinking of Spring? Am I supposed to message Spring now? Is that what's supposed to happen?
Maybe I'll take that though. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa.
I haven't talked to Spring in a while, actually. I probably should reach out to her. She's probably watching this right now going, yes, Eddie, you should call me. We haven't talked in a while. See, now I'm in my head. See, this is an energetic process, everybody. This is not a practical one. So anybody else have any other thoughts or feelings on this? You know, I'm saying thoughts and feelings, not systems or steps or processes, because yeah, those are nice. But what matters to me are your thoughts and feelings about this. And Nancy's like, well, I don't have any thoughts or feelings. I'm just glad we're here to get something done right.
That's not fair. I have some of the other.
Well, let me hear. Yeah, I actually want to hear your thoughts and feelings. Maybe that's why I picked on you.
Well, I just feel a sense of relief because what you were sharing with Marie, because we're in the same business and it just like it was eye-opening. I just went, oh, really listening for those prospects, the clues that I want to feel a certain way, and that's important. That's important. Okay, so if you do this, you're going to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And so you can be happy. And the other people, I just want something that works, well,
Yeah.
you'll get it too.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's good.
You're going to find highly practical people being very, I wouldn't say necessarily judgy, but there's that too. But they're very much into the elimination approach. You know,
Yes.
so like if a person is practical and they're like, I got this problem I need to solve, what are 10 resources I can research so I can figure out which ones are the wrong ones, so I can figure out which is the right one and get it done right. Right. And then that's mostly the motivation. It's not necessarily which one feels right. But it is true that most people, not all people, most people make emotional decisions before they make practical ones. I don't know that that means that the majority of the world is emotional or energetic. I don't know that that's what it means, but I have seen that data, that measurable data where people say, I got it because it felt right versus I got it because it was right. You know, um, take that for what it's worth, friends. Nancy, thank you. That was good. That was a good demonstration of it. All right, friends. Well, I hope you all enjoyed our time here together. Please remember to invite people to these calls. We do these every Monday morning, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. FYI, we're not going to be having one tonight. So I'll send out an email to let everyone know. I failed to do that last week. I'll make sure I do that this week. I'm going to send an email to everyone to know we're not going to have a roundtable tonight, but we will go back to the regular schedule, 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. starting next week. So feel free to invite others to watch this. This is streaming on Facebook. The evening ones I stream on YouTube. If you ever want to go watch those evening ones, feel free to go watch it. A lot of exciting things coming up. The certification program is going to begin on September 12th, I believe was the date I put out. That's going to be week one, actually pre-week one. So before week one, that'll be a first meeting. And this concept of energetic, practical, judgy, accepting, internal, external will be part of the certification this time around. And I'm super pumped about that. If y'all have any questions about that, feel free to message me privately. I'll happily answer any of them. I've got a lot more details, but I'll have more details next week so that everybody can see exactly what it is that you'll get and who to invite and all that fun stuff. So with that being said, have a wonderful day, everybody. Feel free to unmute, say goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
This
Thanks,
was awesome.
everybody. It was
Thank you,
awesome.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Eddie.
Thank
Bye.
you. Victoria's still on? Victoria, I'll see you in Arizona on Sunday.
Bye, everybody.